Hey, first off, guys, just want to thank you. I asked for some help getting a name for this car, and you came through with a very clear winner. So going forward, this project will be known, or this car will be called Shake and Bake. Alright, I kind of made an oopsie on this brake setup here. So I got a really good deal on this and I jumped on it fast, probably a little too fast. It came with the replacement spindle, obviously the new rotor, bearings, all pre-assembled too, which was nice. And the 4 piston calipers. Got a good deal on it, great, came in, set it, put it on the car, happier than a midget at a miniskirt convention. It looked fine. Then I ordered their back brakes. They came in. They've been sitting on my shelf here for a few weeks. I hadn't even opened them yet. So I started to open them the other day, and yeah, these are the back brake rotors. You see a problem here? So these for the back brake, these are gorgeous. It's an aluminum hat, 2-piece rotor, super nice. And it has the same caliper, but obviously this is gonna look a little ridiculous to have in the back of the car when you've got this up front. So unfortunately, that meant I had to go spend a lot more money and upgrade my front brakes, which were already an upgrade over factory. But the good news is somebody's gonna get a smoking deal on this setup. So if you have a G-body and you want to upgrade to a Wilwood kit, I promise you won't find them cheaper than I'm gonna sell these to you for, because I got a steal on them. And I'm not gonna try to get all my money back. I'm just gonna try to get most of it. So I'll take a little hit on that to resell it, but what are you gonna do? Live and learn. So now we have a beautiful 2-piece setup from Wilwood, and we are upgrading to 6 piston calipers, and obviously all the Wilwood hardware, aluminum everything, nice aluminum spindles. This is some nice, really nice stuff. The unfortunate part is none of it's assembled, as you can see. I didn't even tighten these guys down. So this is just in here loose anyway, so there's nothing to disassemble really. This just pops out and I'll be able to pop the new one in. But would have been nice to get it right the first time. All right, here's our beautiful rotor. I had to order these spindles separately. The spindles that I have there will not work with the big brake kit like this. So, you know, just got killed. Whoo, check out these. Wow. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Beautiful chunk of billet. Oh, it's got a threaded center cap, so you can grease it. Wow, freaking nice. Now that is one hell of a caliper. Right, the first thing we need to do with this is actually modify the spindle. So these are factory G-body spindles with a 2-inch drop on them. But we're gonna have to cut away a bunch of steel here in order to mount this kit to these. So none of this stuff is plug and play, which is again why that other kit was so nice. It was very convenient to have it all done for you. So next up, we're gonna have to drill out the factory tapped bolt holes on the spindle. So the 2 factory mounts were ones that we just trimmed right next to them, are these 2 guys. So we just gotta bring down our table and attempt to do this as straight as possible. So we'll just try to do it in a way that goes slow and hope it doesn't catch. Like that.
He's okay!
Now we're going to tap a 3/8 24, tapping those holes that we just made bigger. And that's going to be a pain in the arse, so we're not going to do that. On the hub itself, you've got two different bolt patterns to choose from, 5 on 4.5 and a 5 on 4 3/4. My rear axles are 5 on 4.5, so I'm going to keep the same up here, which means we're going to use the holes closer to the center of the hub basically. Okay, so it's not calling for any Loctite at all on these studs. I just wanted to double check that before I started putting them all in. I know this looks scary with this big, beautiful piece of billet in the jaws of a vise, but we're going to protect it. And the only thing that we're going to be touching is the studs themselves as we torque them down, because the studs aren't going to need to turn very much at all. We just need to keep the body of this thing from turning. So we'll just drop her right in here like so, and I'm just going to snug it up, really not putting any pressure on it at all. Bend over. It's only going to tickle. Drop that guy right in there. I'll set that there for now. There we go. Nailed it! I'll just put the cap on here just temporarily. Obviously we've got to put the hardware on once we get it mounted up on the freshly painted spindles. Now we get to try out our new drilled and tapped brackets. See if our holes line up like a friggin' glove. There it is. So I just realized that they've included absolutely everything you need except the friggin' castle nut here. They even send me the washer that goes there and the cotter pins, but no castle nut. So that sucks, because until I get them, I can't space the calipers out until I know exactly where home is on these guys and they're snugged in, and I'm not gonna reuse my old ones. So yeah, that kind of blows for right now anyway. We'll get it mocked up, I guess, and load the pads and the calipers and all that stuff. Okay, with more C-clips, but no castle nuts. I don't know if that recorded me bolt these on or not. Camera just did something funky, but in case it didn't, look at these things. Freaking gorgeous. All right, everybody, I'm super psyched that this showed up. What we have here, oh, is it gorgeous. 100% aluminum case, through bolted. I think it's like a 12 bolt carrier. Obviously that's all billet aluminum. This thing is good to well over 1500 horsepower. It is not a spool because I do want to be able to drive this on the street, so obviously that drives the cost up. It is a limited slip diff, but it is built for drag racing that you can also run in the street. And yeah, I didn't want to cheap out on any of this major driveline stuff, so that no matter what we decide to do in the future, for the most part, I can put any kind of engine in front of this entire driveline, and I don't have to worry that, oh, I wish I spent a little bit more and got something a little beefier. The rear end we've got is super beefy, 4-link setup, super beefy, axles, super beefy, beefy. Everything's beefy. And this is an integral part of the beef package. The other good part about this is we are now ready to assemble our rear end. I ended up painting up my 4-link bars, and they came out freaking phenomenal. I mean, they literally look powder coated. The paint job is just a spray job, and it came out beautiful. So as you see there, we got our axles ready to go. We've got the rear end itself, the housing ready to go. I've got the back brakes ready to go, and I couldn't stand the chrome springs. It looked too old school street rod for me, so I went and painted the springs a nice kind of a battleship gray, which I really like how it looks against the black, so that's cool. Going to continue to try to take some more weight out of this body, and we'll be doing that by sectioning this out. I also have a little bit of rust here too, so it's going to solve both of those problems, but I don't need a whole lot of strength here at all. In fact, the entire body just needs to support itself essentially. Because you remember, this body no longer serves really any purpose other than to look good. It's all the structure of the car is on the chassis and that roll cage.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
So I was bouncing back and forth on what to do for a finish on the interior metal. I'm still not 100% sure how much of this is going to actually show, but I decided to go with the bed liner because it'll, A, it gives a really nice finish, but B, it'll help dampen some of the sound, and we're not going to have a real interior. The more that I'm building this, the more it becomes obvious. I'm not going to go full interior in this car at all, so anything that will help take some of the harshness off it is probably a good decision. So I think that worked out real well. And a lot of this might end up getting covered with aluminum panels, but for the parts that show, at least, we're all covered on all edges and corners of the interior. I'm about to put the body back onto the chassis for the final time. At least I hope so, knock on wood. Once this comes down this time, it's going to be welded to the chassis. It's no longer going to be a body on chassis design with bushings between the body and the chassis. It's just going to be one monolithic car, one piece with a cage, and the cage supporting the body and the driveline and obviously all of that. So yeah, as long as everything goes well here, it shouldn't have to come back off ever again. I cannot believe how friggin' good that looks in there. Oh my God. I mean, despite the body being completely disgusting, but just that chassis now and all those nice parts actually in a body, and it fits. Oh, so cool. So friggin' cool. Yes! They did make some changes to this thing while these two were separated, especially on the back here, and I wasn't 100% sure if my whole fuel system was gonna clear, but as you see, just barely clears. Well, I'll call that perfect. All right, now we're gonna start looking at ways and how we want to attach the body to the chassis. And again, I could make this a bolt-on, but the truth is, even if I did that, once I get all the panels and everything else in, I'm not gonna be able to take the body off the car anyway. So I am gonna permanently weld it all as one piece, so that way we don't have any hardware to worry about, vibrations to deal with, or anything like that. So now we just gotta kind of find those places that make sense to start tying this body into the frame. Right here is definitely gonna be one of them here. Probably just gonna run some angle iron, just a small piece, and we'll catch a weld at the top, catch a weld at the bottom, straight to the frame there. And we'll do something up in the front there as well, just to get us started. And then we'll tie everything probably on the back side in the trunk. We'll tie the rest of it together. Now that the body, the cage, and the chassis have all kind of become one, I think that's probably a good spot for us to stop and finish off this episode. As always, any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms, throw them down in the comments section below me. Very much appreciate you all watching, and hope you have a great day.